Kosick on the year has allowed just 5 goals in 6 games. This will be her 8th cap all-time for the Black Bears, as well as the grad student will try to improve on her 3-1-2 record. Grace Wilson recently named the America East Defensive and Rookie of the Week. They will not be starting in this lineup here, however, today. Black Bears wearing their home white uniforms, and it'll be Binghamton wearing their black uniforms with the white numbers and letters here this afternoon. And we appreciate you joining us as the offsides flag is already going to be shown up, and Maine's Abby Kramer will be called for it for the first time.
Yeah, and Williams was out there to collect that one early. I think she was there either way.
Yeah, looking at this on paper or preparing for this broadcast, you really look at these two teams and you say, these are really two of the teams that we would expect would be competing for a championship when all is said and done. Last year, Maine was hosting the championship, and now this time through, Binghamton hoping to do the honor, and would have if they made it to the semifinal and over to the championship as well.
Yeah, that's correct. I think if I were a betting man, I would say bet the tie, because these two teams have tied the past 3 times that they've played, and historically there's 11 wins in favor of Binghamton and 6 losses for Binghamton and 7 ties, so it's a high number of ties.
Binghamton trying to put some pressure on early. That one's going to be knocked away. We'll have our first, thought it was going to be a corner kick. It looks like it was the last touch by Maine, but it will be Black Bears with the goal kick. So Bearcats 3-3-2 so far in the out-of-conference, and again, this is the conference opener. Maine on their out-of-conference slate, 4-1-2. Their only loss coming to Rutgers, a 3-0 loss down at the Garden State.
Yeah, and Maine losing to Rutgers, that's a good team. That's a Big Ten team. But drawing with an ACC team in Syracuse was a promising look for these Black Bears.
Well, here come those Maine Black Bears right now. Abby Kramer near right side, cross, but that one's going to be just out of play. Williams is right there to gather it up nonetheless and caught it cleanly. I think they're going to say that she had stepped out of play when gathering that. So it'll be a Maine corner kick early on in this contest.
That's unfortunate for Binghamton. It looked like that ball would have been going out.
It'll be Christina Kelly from Lincolnville, Maine, transfer before last season from Central Connecticut, taking the corner to the short post, still in the box. And looking to control this one. And you can feel the energy and the pressure more so than an out-of-conference game. You can just feel that there's a little bit less of that line to blur. You need to be successful on most of your touches if you're going to come out with a win in this one.
Yeah, it's definitely a difficult opening game for both of these teams to try yourself against really what should be the other best team in the conference.
Maine again gets that one, but it's knocked away. Hard tackle, and you can see some of the Maine bench not happy with how that went down. And again, patrolling and monitoring the midfield. They'll go all the way back to Kosick, who will look to switch fields here. Kosick not known like her counterpart in the year prior, Kira Kutsinski, for belting that ball deep into the night, but she is very confident out there, at least when the ball's at her feet. Catherine Mitchell, our official here today. Another little trip up. And we'll get this one right at midfield. It'll be a free kick. They'll play the possession. Maine so far has been given out 7 yellow cards. On the other side of things for Binghamton, a little bit less clean of a soccer pitch for them. 6 yellow cards and 1 red already in 8 contests. Maine only playing 7 so far, but still a little bit more of an aggressive team, at least in those numbers for the Bearcats. Wind blowing across the diamond here today at Mahaney Diamond. Likely the last year these Black Bears will be playing on this facility until they break ground in the near couple of months on a brand new soccer facility. Wind blowing, of course, across from the benches towards our direction, as Maine also goes right into the wind and switches fields to that far left side. Maine working quickly, good spin there. Kirkby over to Reinwald. All rookie selection last year for the Black Bears. Emma Schneider losing the ball. It's taken away. A little bit of run going. Still loose. Still battling for is Mimas. Then it's dispossessed. Hannah Mimas, currently right now in the conference with her 5 goals, is second in the America East.
Yeah, her 5 goals is good for best on the team, along with her 4 assists, best on that Binghamton side.
Keep an eye on her patrolling the left side of the field. Whistle, and that will be a violation called on Binghamton for the second time here today.
Yeah, Meme is definitely a player to watch this season. Her 28 shots is second in the conference, only behind Maine's Abby Kramer. But she leads the America East in assists with a 3-way tie with Maine's Abby Kramer and Christina Kelly.
There's a Binghamton player down on the field. Trying to see exactly who it is. It looks like it's number 29, Paige Luke, who was the America East Rookie of the Year a year ago. Didn't seem like one of those soccer injuries where you're flopping down trying to get the whistle too, as she tried to get up a little bit and then was unable to do so too, with the medical staff now attending to her with the clock etched at 39-39 currently.
Yeah, Luke is a great player. A sophomore, has 2 points coming through the means of 2 assists this season, both of which took place in Binghamton's season opener against George Washington.
Of course, not only just the Rookie of the Year, all rookie as you would imagine as well, and starting all 8 games played so far for the Bearcats and just building on a really great career in Vestal.
Yeah, last season she tailed 4 goals and 2 assists to lead All-America East freshman, tying as Binghamton's top scorer for the season and starting 16 of 17 games as a freshman.
Well, it gives us a chance, too, to just let you know about the starting lineups. Of course, Luke was in the starting lineup, joined with the goalkeeper, Caitlin Williams, also starting Allison Falvo, the junior defenseman from New Hartford, New York, Mackenzie Ryder, number 17, number 16, Alex Marsteller, number 15, Brooke Herber, was a preseason all-conference selection, number 10, Anna Buckwalter, the midfielder, first-year player from Bidsboro, Pennsylvania, Anna Mimas, who we already spoke on, wearing number 6, number 3, Jakaya Davis, and number 2, Megan Baker. They're coached by 9th-year head man Neil Bhattacharjee. There's a pretty, not stereotypical, but common lineup for them. Jessica Kasich is the goalkeeper again for this turnaround. And Emma Schneider, number 4, number 5. Louisa Reinwald, Christina Kelly wearing number 7 as well in the midfield position. Lara Kirkby wearing number 8. Anna Phillips, the transfer from Oregon, also will be playing on the defensive side again, wearing number 10. Kayla and Abby Kramer, 11 and 12 respectively for the Blackbears in the forward position. The El Vermilia from Framingham, Massachusetts, wearing number 14. Mila Schneider, the defensive stalwart, wearing number 18. And number 21, Jordan Panett, who has really done a great job. 3 goals already on the season, and all 3 of her goals have been game-winning goals in those contests.
Yeah, that's good for 4th in the nation to this point, so pretty good start for Panett. And I guess you could say Panett's pretty clutch based on those stats.
You always want goals, but when you can do that in a resounding fashion, it gives your team the victory as well. Yeah. Always a nice feather in your cap, and the Black Bears might have something brewing. That last line of defense just knocking that one away as Abby Kramer was just about to feast. Speaking of Abby, she's battling for it. This one low. It's blocked by Williams. Nicely done. The whistle. And this one is going to be a stoppage here, and I think we're going to have a penalty kick.
It looked like Abby Kramer was asking for a handball, and she got it.
I'm just surprised William was able to get her body in front of that low, hard striking shot. But now the Black Bears a chance with 38:57 left on the first half clock to go up 1-0. And Abby Kramer, one of the most dangerous players at the spot.
Rebecca Kessler, the other goalkeeper, saved a penalty against Monmouth. Caitlin Williams has not faced one thus far.
Kramer takes a handful of steps backward. Here's the ascent. And she pelts the back of the net. Maine 1-0 in this premier America East matchup. As after Abby Kramer sliced and diced the defense, gets granted a penalty shot and buries it.
It was only so long. Abby Kramer, 1 goal thus far on the season, but the most shots in the America East, and she finds her second.
Abby Kramer, goal number 2 on the year. She'll move up to 8 total points. And for her, that's career goal number 26 as the striker of the year, the forward of the year of the conference, showing off and picking up right where she left off a year ago. The 38-57 is when that goal will be. Of course, unassisted on the penalty kick. And that's going to be a great sign for Coach Scott Atherley and his team.
An interesting to note about Kramer, she led her team obviously in goals last season, and this season she already has tied her assists from last season with 4, and is leading the team currently. So if she can get some of those balls in the back of the net and keep assisting like this, I mean, there's no telling how good this season could be.
Be a whistle. Bring this one back around the circle. Wind continuing to blow, but not at the same fervent pace as it was before. It's when they try to send it into the corner, but a little bit too ambitious and strong on the kick, and that will go harmlessly out for a goal kick.
Yeah, that's Brooke Herber on the kick for Binghamton. The only player on this roster to start and play the full 90 minutes of each game for Binghamton thus far.
And that's why she was likely picked as the second-team All-Conference selection a year ago, preseason All-Conference entering this year. Dangerous one there. Maine had an opportunity to get this one cleared, but instead puts the pressure and sends it backwards in a dangerous spot. And that one almost tested Kasich in goal, and it will be the first corner kick for the Bearcats of Binghamton.
Anna Buckwalter outstaked this one for Binghamton. Top 10 in the American East for goals and points this season with 3 and 8, respectively.
She'll line this right at the corner of the circle. This one low. Trying to get a foot on it. Didn't do so cleanly to the Bearcats. Maine trying to clear it. Binghamton still putting the pressure on the outside. Here's the cross in. Again, deflected by a Maine defender. And then this one pelted up the field towards the Binghamton bench.
Yeah, Maine loves to pack the box on those corner defenses, and it works that time with Abby Kramer, their striker, and forward getting clearance.
Either of these teams scoring at the same clip, at least in the out-of-conference that they did a year ago. Maine averaging 1.57 goals per contest. The contrast, Bearcats right now, 1.38. 11 total goals for both sides, but one more game for the Bearcats in the out-of-conference. And trying to get this one. They'll send it all the way back to Kasich. Bearcat patrolling in the area. That was Mimas. Maine is playing very dangerously on the back, and you wonder if it's going to burn them eventually.
Yeah, Maine is passing back and forth there in that back line, but they do have a lot of experience in that back line. They rarely will substitute out back there, especially towards the beginning of the game.
This one's sent towards the 18. It's going to bounce in. Kasich, though, right back at her line. This one's going to go just careening off to the side. Dave Davis was in on the mix as well. And there'll be another corner kick for the Bearcats, this time coming from the near left side of the field.
Looks like Buckwalter will take this one again. Anna Buckwalter, a freshman, two-time American East Rookie of the Week this season, and actually set a high school record and ranked 3rd in the country for most points in a season with 63 in her sophomore year of high school.
Sent to the back post, pinballing inside the 6. Now back to the top of the 18. The one touch is going to go off the shin guard. Now by the Sullivan Tire sign in left center field. A lot of action in this contest so far, and you imagine this between two teams who are meeting for the 25th time. Seems like a little bit too much confidence on that line for Maine right now as they took and traversed in front of the goal mouth there, right on the 6.
Yeah, this Bearcats team is dangerous. They went 5-0-3 in conference play a season ago, and this would be their first conference loss in a while. If this holds, this 1-0 lead holds for Maine.
Yeah, back in the COVID-shortened season, after the after effects of the shutdown, they went 6-2, 4-1 in conference, losing in the semifinals back in the 2020-21 season. During the true 2021 season, they went 8-3, 4-3-2 in conference, and ever since then, they've only lost one game in the 22 and 23 seasons, going 6-1-1 back in 22, and of course, as you alluded to, Ian, 5-0-3 last year. Not a ton of losses for this Bearcats team, and you got to give Chargy a lot of credit as the head man of this team. And trying to get some offense brewing again from this near sideline. Just under 35 minutes left to go in this first half. One touch on Kramer. Concedes it over, trying to cut it back on the square, though it's behind on the pass by Panett. Sent back towards the middle of the field, headed back in towards the middle. Kirkby sends it over to this near sideline. Good square passing, beautifully done on one touches by Maine. Kramer tries to cut it back, unable to do so, and that's some really great defensive work there from Brooke Herbert. Try to get it into Panett. Looks like it spins off her foot. It'll be a throw in deep into the Binghamton side of the field.
Yeah, the short throw from Snyder, not the most dangerous play, but when you're looking for Jordan Panett, definitely not the worst play either.
A little bit of a push off there, and I think they're going to call that one on Christina Kelly. Trying to gain an advantage on the header. Instead, it'll be a free kick for the Bearcats. Full of fouls for both sides right now.
Looks like Herbert is going to lead this one for Sophia Garofalo.
This one sent pretty deep. Right on the one touch there. They're trying to turn the corner and possess it, but looks like it's going to go and still be loose out there. Mimas in the vicinity. Then all the way back to Kasich. Token pressure, she goes over to her left. Now Maine switching fields, and they like what they see. Unable to get through this time. A staunch midfield onslaught there from Binghamton. Mimas tries to find some space. She's going to try to dribble through it herself, and then Maine dispossesses that one and knocks it back towards midfield. Another whistle and another player down near midfield for the Bearcats. Not overly warm or anything. You're not imagining a lot of cramping here today. It's probably in the low 60s as we really start to hit into the colder conditions as this is the first day of fall.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a good temperature for a soccer game. The maybe prematurely the Black Bears were handing out scarves today.
I will say beautiful scarves handed out to the first 100 students in attendance. One side it said Maine with 2023 on either end of the scarf, and then in the middle on the reverse side of it said America's Champions, of course honoring the team that won a year ago for the first time ever in conference, hoisting that crown. Now it's about building on it for Maine. They would love to win this game, set themselves up. Also a very tough contest coming right around the corner in Burlington versus the Catamounts coming up on the 29th. Then they're back here on a Thursday night versus UMass Lowell in a rematch of that championship game. So it doesn't get much easier for the Black Bears in the early slate, but it's about compiling up as much points as possible.
It looks like that's Paige Luke again, who went down on the field, able to walk off with the help of the coaches, but you wonder if that's maybe related to what happened a little earlier this game.
Well, if you're just joining us, Abby Kramer had a great sort of slice and dice through the 18. One-on-one with the keeper. It was a handball after the save. She was granted a penalty kick and buried it to the right side of the goal at the 38-57 mark, and that's the difference in this contest between the two preseason 1 and 2 picks in the conference entering this year. A lot of excitement on campus here today, too. Maine football team down in Massachusetts winning against Merrimack yesterday. And then, of course, field hockey winning yesterday as well, also to the Merrimack Warriors. As Bella Brown will check in now for the Bearcats. It'll be Stonehill on the pitch for field hockey just over to our right. Amazing that we have October right around the corner, but we're already in conference play, and there's only 3 more home games left for the Maine Black Bears after this one, too. So, such a quick and short season, but an exciting one for both these teams.
Yeah, and that's 3 more home games scheduled this season.
Right.
We'll see if we get a couple more playoff games. I mean, if this win holds, then they'll be on track for it.
I think Coach Scott Atherley would be very disappointed if they don't have at least one more home game representing a quarterfinal hosting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Atherley committed to this team, signing a contract extension a couple weeks back.
Both coaches at the helm of their programs, Bettichargi and Atherley, doing great jobs revitalizing these programs. Binghamton, one of the classes of the America East as well in the last handful of seasons. Back to Kasich. Again, some more pressure being put inside the box. He decides to go to the near right side. Picked up by Emma Schneider. Turned the corner there into no man's land as it goes all the way towards the sideline, and Maine's going to hope for at least just a throw-in, and that's exactly the case. It's another dangerous situation by inadvertent passing to no one in particular.
Yeah, Elva Amelia working back there, but no one home before she made that trek back.
This one popped out of the corner. Binghamton tries to send it out, or send it back in. Maine trying to send it out towards the Bearcat bench, and it'll be another throw-in for Binghamton.
That's Laura Kirksey there on that clearance. Currently top 20 in shots, shots on goal, goals, assists, all in the American East.
Another one knocked towards the bench, this time favoring the Black Bears with just 30 minutes and change left to go in this first half of play, and we appreciate you making us part of your Sunday afternoon plans in the America East opener for Binghamton and Maine. 2 semifinalists a year ago. One will continue their success from last year. One will have a little setback, or possibly a tie and will be flat-footed after one. And applying some pressure here now deep in the Binghamton side of the field. Looking for a cross, but Maine will work backwards. They've had some success working on the right side. Quick one-touch into the box. 3 players there for Binghamton, and that one's going to bounce its way all the way to the corner, but it will be a throw-in.
It's a good find on that clearance by Madison O'Sullivan to get that out and not give up a corner, and find a way to get it out on the touchline for a throw.
Too heavy of a touch. Again, Maine trying to switch fields into this near sideline. We'll have a substitute in here for Binghamton this time through. Megan Baker, normally a starter. She actually did last time out in a 2-0 victory versus Lemoyne, though comes off the bench today. The Jamesville, New York native.
Yeah, she was actually mic'd up at one of Binghamton's practices and seems to be somewhat of a team leader, even though just a sophomore right now.
Here's Abby Kramer. Oh, right through the wickets. The cross, though, is going to be knocked away. Kramer's just having fun at this point, too, just at a different level than a lot of her peers in the America East. Good throw. Good push-off. Kramer, though, tenacious. Gets back to the midfield. And then knocked away. Binghamton's got some numbers up ahead. Here's Hannah Mimas. Knocked away. It'll be a Maine throw-in just on the Maine side of midfield.
Good shield off there by Mila Schneider with the full 90 minutes last week against Holy Cross alongside fellow defender Anna Phillips.
Maine has done a great job not only uniting siblings, as you mentioned Mila, her sister Emma, on this roster, along with the 2 Kramer sisters, and Kayla and Abby. And also the Grisdales. Olivia, a first-year player, joining her sister Rebecca. Rebecca, the junior, she transferred from Memphis before the 23 campaign. This one sent over. Trying to get on to that one was Davis. Well, eventually get the ball at her feet. This one sent ambitiously. Not sure if she got a touch on it, did Kasich, but that one at least tested her. And it will be a corner kick coming up for the Bearcats, their second of the afternoon.
That's a risky shot to take as a freshman for Jakaya Davis, but when you put it on goal or at least that close, I don't think the coaches are going to be mad about it.
This one sent towards goal on the back post, the head down, and that one's just going to miss. It hits near the side panel and out of play. Again, Binghamton's been knocking on that door, but Maine has not allowed them to be let in yet. But some sloppy play, some dangerous passing could be Maine's undoing here if they continue to do so as this game progresses.
Yeah, and you wonder sort of is Kasich in until Binghamton scores, or until Binghamton scores a couple, or was Grace Wilson's start last week sort of just a let's see what we have in the last game of non-conference play?
Yeah, Grace Wilson had a very tremendous game versus Holy Cross, getting their first shutout of their career. This one knocked over. Kramer looking at options here. And he sends it back near side again. Kramer, good shield, good turn. Again, the backpack on her on the defensive side of things. Knocked away. Good job there by a couple different players, including Allison Falva. One thing I'm noticing for the Blackbears here today is they're a little bit more spaced out, not as packed in as we've seen them in games past and in years past.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of jumping in the midfield, especially Laura Kirkby. And, well, I guess it's common for Kirkby because it feels like she's all over the field at all times. But definitely working back defensively and up, sometimes up even higher than Abby Kramer.
A good spin there, though. The clean out. Kramer goes right down by second base. So it'll be a free kick for Maine. And this is one of those spots where it's kind of dangerous for teams to defend against Maine because it's just deep enough but not too close where you're going to get a shot on goal. But Maine has some great set pieces here that can hook this near towards the back post.
Some great targets in the box as well.
Instead, Rymel gets it. Takes that one, careens off the midsection of Garafola. Comes Maine, the cross. Schneider, back post, but a little too long as that run was kind of snuck in by Kayla Kramer. And she got a little further out. Good cut back here. Hold that thought. Bounces back. Almost looked like it was intentionally backheeled by Abby Kramer. Maine trying to get some space. Again, just knocked off the ball and then the clearance. Kasich, well out of her goal, will come up to greet this one.
And I think Christina Kelly would have loved that cross to be finished, not only because it would be an assist and a goal for her team, but that move was pretty good to get a defender touching the earth there.
There was a couple of just beautiful plays there. Just Maine unable to be in the right spot to finish it. Williams dangerously out of her goal. And again, much as I was critiquing Maine maybe being a little frivolous with the ball at the back, that was a play that you just don't want to see your goalkeeper outside the 18 where she can't touch it, be that far away if Maine had just taken it away.
Yeah, I don't mind the aggression, but I think that our defenders would have had a chance at least to get there to that ball.
In a better position.
Necessary, yeah.
Well, no harm, no foul, no goal scored against. A little misfooting there from Maine. Trying to get into Kelly. She'll lose it. Now an opportunity. Maine will again play the possession game. We're getting close to where we normally see Maine have the substitutes come in. Some pushing and shoving, this time favoring the Black Bears. Binghamton will pick up their fourth foul of the contest, make that fifth. Maine has been relentless, at least trying to work these runs on this left and right side. This time to go for the former more so than the latter. Good step over. Maine just needed putting some numbers up forward. This one sent over, headed back out, cleared, though the miss hit will set Maine up. Sent back in towards the box again. Another deflection here. Maine just not getting that one clean. Otherwise, they might have had another chance for a second goal. First one in the field.
Yeah, that was a good head out by Herbert. It definitely stopped an opportunity with two Maine players looking to get on the back of that ball.
Another thing that's setting Maine up for good potential chances is another Binghamton throw-in right by the Maine bench, is that they're not really creeping up that last line of defense like we've seen teams in the out-of-conference do versus Maine. We've only had one offsides call so far on the Black Bears, as before in other games we've been able to call. There's been 4 or 5 already in the first half.
Yeah, I think Maine is doing a good amount of build-up play and was finding those crosses in from the sides. Maybe even playing a little bit less through the middle of the field.
Good cutback by Mimas. Tries to cross this one. It's going to be angled towards the wall as opposed to the field of play. It'll be a goal kick for Maine. 21:40 left to go in this one. Abby Kramer's penalty kick, the difference maker so far. 1-0 Black Bears in this preseason 1 versus preseason 2. All 9 of the first place votes going to these two respective teams. 8 going to Maine, 1 going to Binghamton. And I'm pretty sure I know who voted for Binghamton, because you can't vote for yourself. So Maine showing the respect there that they think the Bearcats will be there when all is said and done. And also vice versa, too. Binghamton saying that Maine's going to be the conference champs. This one's into the near side.
I want to add out a player to watch in the midfield, number 5 for Maine, Reinwald. Someone to watch as a potential scorer this season. Came into this game with 8 total shots, 75% of those being on goal. That's a high clip, especially if you're putting up 8 shots.
I'll give you credit, too, Ian. You said this was the game that you thought she was going to get her first goal of the 24 campaign after pelting 2 in the back of the net a year ago.
Yeah, I had to get it on the air just before it happened so that if it does, everyone knows I knew it was coming.
We'll come up with some Nostradamus-esque nickname for you if that's the case, if it does come to fruition. Maine will have some substitutes. We'll get you abreast of that here in just a moment. It's also good to see some other UMaine players on different sports coming out in attendance. Always see some football players even after a hard-fought game yesterday, but some Maine women's soccer players being treated and cheered on by the Maine women's basketball players. Saw a handful of them in attendance just a moment ago. Kelly sends it all the way backwards to Kosick. Wind continues to blow across the field. Now sent to the left side and then out of play right at midfield. So Tegan Morrison comes in. Julie Lassius as well. Linda Clausel. As Kayla Kramer, El Vermilia, and Jordan Panette check out for the Black Bears. Lauren Clark also comes in as Jakea Davis will get a breather.
Clark coming in for Binghamton has yet to find the back of the net, but has 4 shots and was voted as the Bearcats' offensive MVP in their in-team votes last season.
Clark, another player who had started all 8 games this year, but did not get the nod here in this contest. Sent all the way back, cleared out by Williams. Square pass bouncing, but still being possessed by the Bearcats. This one a good potential run here. Nemus cuts it back, looking for a clean shot, still loose. And Kosick gets it right off the shin guard, and then a whistle. We'll see what the call is, but it's not going to be a penalty kick, even though it was in the box. It's going to go against Binghamton instead. Well, Maine unable to defend that. Great dribbling around by Hannah Mimas. Almost tied this one up at 1.
Has a great leg save by Kosick. It's definitely difficult when someone's coming across in front of the center of the goal. That shot really could have gone anywhere, and Kosick covered enough of the goal to get the save.
Under 18 minutes left to go in the first half. It's been a fun one so far from Mahaney Diamond in Orono. We appreciate you joining us. Brian Stackpole, Ian McDonald with you. First of 8 conference games for both these teams. And then We'll have the Americas postseason, which will be coming around the corner once we hit the month of November and change that calendar over. And, of course, I think that also means a time change. I think they're still doing that, right? Last time I checked.
They always throw me off, but I can't remember if it's the good one or the bad one coming up.
This one bouncing. It looks like Kramer might have been offsides anyways. The flag did not go up, but harmlessly into Williams' possession nonetheless. Well, it's bad in terms of you get less sunlight, which you would have had anyways. But you don't have it later. You get an extra hour of sleep, though.
Okay, so I'm taking that as the good one.
That's the good one? All right.
Yeah.
See, I always like the spring forward one, where you lose an hour of sleep, but you have more daylight in the afternoon. Cassick gets that one. Glanced with her teammate for just a brief moment. Maine ambitious, trying to get the ball moving on that far left side of the field. This one knocked off towards the sidelines. Another whistle. This one favoring the Black Bears. A little shielding foul there. A couple players careened in with one another. Another beautiful day at the ballpark. Unseasonably warm temperatures last week in the state of Maine. Those are soon to subside, and we'll start seeing some colder weather here, but still enjoying a nice temperate day today. Maine sends this over.
No soccer players, but in that warm weather, saw a lot of Maine students outside.
Oh, this one off the hand again, and another. Oh, no, they're going to say this one's going to be Maine taking down the defender this time through, as opposed to another penalty kick, which would have almost assuredly been granted had that not been a foul committed prior.
Just outside the reach of Julie Lausius.
Could you imagine, Ian, if that was a second penalty granted to the Black Bears?
I think it may have been a good chance if that's Abby Kramer's third goal, if it is. That first penalty was pretty difficult to save.
Yeah, perfectly placed by the Black Bear goal-scoring savant. Cassick getting some pressure there, deciding elects to go to her left. He's had moderate success on that far left side. They'll try it again, but the whistle, or at least the flag, will be up as that one goes out of play. Good attendance here today. Some fans taking advantage of the baseball grandstands, and then also some of the ones set up on the field itself. And some four-legged friends also enjoying the festivities here today, though the Bark in the Park day is coming around the corner, but not yet here this afternoon.
There's actually a dog out there just taking a nap, just off the leash, taking a nap out there. So pretty chill environment.
It reminds me of mine when I left home today. I don't think I could wake him up out of bed. He was going to have a nice sleepy Sunday.
I think my dog might be barking at the soccer ball, so I'm glad he's not. He didn't make the trip up from southern Maine.
I was just hoping my 7-month-old would have done the same and taken a nice nap. But harder to convince his 7-month-old to enjoy a nice mid-afternoon nap. Another whistle here. We've been sort of ravaged by a lot of physical play here and a lot of whistles, but it's good to keep this one nice and clean and make sure that you set the table for it. In our official today, Catherine Mitchell, doing a great job. Did have to make the difficult decision and award a penalty kick to Maine, but it was the right call.
Follow asking Abby Kramer to take a couple steps back.
This one's sent towards goal. Cassick had that one knuckle on her, but still gets that one just outside the 6. Wind just slightly blowing now to the face of Cassick in Maine's goal. Talked about Maine coming up around the corner, taking on Vermont in Burlington next week. Bearcats will be heading on to take on New Hampshire, which will be their conference opener.
Yeah, New Hampshire, another tough matchup. They were voted third in that preseason poll, only 2 points behind Binghamton. So Binghamton is now playing one above and one below to start it off.
Some people posturing that New Hampshire might be one of the best teams to be in this conference. Of course, we know about the preseason poll. We know about their success over recent years. Maybe a little lackluster last year after winning the conference tournament back in 22. But already 5 victories in the out-of-conference and a pretty good record to boot. So a lot of people have opened their eyes to the Wildcats and maybe contending for a championship this year as well.
And it would be a fun matchup. Maine and New Hampshire find themselves playing each other. Obviously a rivalry between the two schools.
Thought it might have been brewing last year in the semifinals, but Maine instead taking on Vermont. Catamounts gave them a good go. Victoria Dungy in the contest for the Black Bears. Good heel flick on there from Kramer. Gets it over, back over. Abby with a potential here to cross it, but she loses that one. Too much pace going down towards the end line, and it does traverse across that white line. And will be a goal kick with 11:35 remaining in the half.
That was a good ball to Abby Kramer from Keegan Morrison, who has 1 assist thus far this season and scored 1 goal and passing off 2 assists last season.
And continues to knock the ball up. Then a collision here between 2 Bearcat players, but Maine aided in that. That'll be a free kick now for the Bearcats. Wind blowing now across the field from the benches.
Garofalo again pointed a little bit at Abby Kramer there to take a couple steps back on the free kick.
She is one of those players, too, is Kramer, that if you give her an inch, she'll try to take a foot. This one, dangerous, but just hit off the toe, all the way back to Williams, just outside the 18. She'll send it deep into Maine's send. Bemis might have had that one graze off her shoulder, maybe upper arm. No whistle as they'll change the fields now, switching over to the far side.
Yeah, if you're clearing as a keeper, thus far, Hannah Bemis is a good spot to be generally hitting the ball in the direction of.
This one knocked out of play. Will stay with Binghamton. Over 10 minutes left to go in this one. 1-0. Maine's Abby Kramer with a penalty kick past the keeper Williams. The only difference in this one, that one occurred back at the 38:57 minute mark on the clock, still in the first. So very early on, Maine has led for much of this contest.
Yeah, and that's not to say, I mean, both teams have had chances after that. It's just, that was the one that found the back of the net.
We'll have to do a little research project. Hold that thought for right now. Is that one just across the mouth of the goal and all the way through? It will be a goal kick, and we'll have another Maine substitute. I will say, though, Maine, as of late, has scored very, very early on their contest. Outside the game in which they did not score, and that streak versus Merrimack and Rutgers on the 29th and the 1st of September, Maine has done an incredible job of scoring like the first 5 minutes of contest, or the first 10 minutes, and putting the pressure on the opposition.
Yeah, they had 3 first-half leads to start off the season, and I believe 3 game undefeated streaks to start off the season for the 3rd year in a row. Definitely off to a hot start these past few years and this year. And now off to a hot start in conference play. We'll see if they hold this lead till at least half.
I'm just trying to think, too, even that Stonehill game, they scored exceedingly early in that contest and then put up 3 more goals afterwards. Holy Cross scoring early in that contest. Even Syracuse got out strong in the first half of that contest. Julian Rovers, by the way, in for Abby Kramer. The main goal scorer will get a breather before the break. This one's sent towards the corner, but will hook towards the foul side of it.
Of course, in the American East, once you're subbed out of the half, you won't go back. You're not able to go back in for that half. But Abby Kramer, most likely coming out to start the second.
Oh, dangerous kick there. Opportunity for the Black Bears. Cut back. Can they make something happen here in the waning minutes of this first half of play? It'll be stopped for the moment by the Bearcat defense.
Good run by Lossius there, but good defense by Megan Baker.
Oh, good flick on. And he gathers back. Sent back over to the far sideline. Maine tries to cross it low. Snuffed out before it entered the box. Now Binghamton possessing it. Nema's trying to turn it, instead sends it backwards. Maine, though, an opportunity, then pushed off the ball, and that one's going to be a quick and easy whistle there. Maine works very quick. Could be a little too quick here, as now Binghamton has an opportunity. Schneider skies it, missed it off the side of her foot. Blackbears will send it all the way back to Cossack.
Yeah, luckily waiting on the end of that one was Anna Phillips. Already got an American Youth Defensive Player of the Week once this season.
This one sent towards the 18. We'll send it all the way back to Williams. Oh, dangerous. Just out of the awaiting foot of Julie Lossius. Maine with some space. The through ball is going to not be angled to the right desired spot. Maine picks it up nonetheless.
And since being subbed in, Megan Baker's been an active player on this field, playing at the right back. It seems to be one of those last lines of defense, even at that position, which is usually a little bit higher up.
The one touch. Schneider skies it. Still in a dangerous spot. A couple players collide in with each other. Looks like Williams might even get tangled up into that as Maine gets the throw in. A quick whistle here. A whole bunch of bodies just flying inside the 18, grinning with one another.
Yeah, I think they're just checking, making sure everyone's good after that little collision. Looks like they are.
So it'll be a Maine throw in. They work quickly. Dispossessed. Binghamton now with it. Trying to send it up the field. Good passing. But off the foot of the Binghamton player, it looks like it's going to be number 26, Lauren Clark, who loses hold of it. This one's sent towards goal. Headed down nicely. Now a potential change in fields. Cossack getting well out of her goal to pick this one up. Clad in the pink today, as she's normally had for much of the campaign in 2024.
One interesting thing to note in a situation like this is that you kind of have to have some experience with playing this quick. I mean, both teams are playing quick ball here, but it feels like Maine is just more in control when they do it. Binghamton is getting those clearances out, but not necessarily finding possession on the other end of them.
Another bad tackle there from Binghamton, who's likely dangerously close to their first yellow card, which would also be their 7th of the season. This one, dangerous ball. Morrison can't get her foot on it. Williams comes out. Now retreats back to her goal mouth. Morrison trying to get that one. That'll last be touched by her. Well, the substitution for Binghamton coming in. Noticing here, too, as we talked about Cossack's pink jersey, the green and the black, Williams wearing all green and gold, not much different than the black uniforms that Binghamton's wearing. It's almost hard to differentiate her from her teammates when there's a whole scrum in the 6.
Yeah, I wonder if it is almost more difficult for her defenders, too, because there was a miscue there where her and her defenders kind of got tangled up to see when their keeper is coming out to grab the ball.
See what the Blackbears can get brewing here. Rovers sends it back over to last line of defense before Cossack. It's sent to the far sideline. That one's going to be deflected off to the defender. There'll be a Maine throw-in once more. 3:17 remaining in this first half of play. Maine 1-0. Abby Kramer's penalty kick. The difference in this one is Binghamton will get the throw. It's a collision favoring Binghamton this time.
Yeah, it looks like that was on Dungy for Maine, the sophomore. 1 assist this season and 1 goal last year. The did have some good moves after subbing in the midfield just to possess the ball and find their teammates.
Quick throw in. 3 white jerseys in on this play. Trying to defend this one. This one crossing the box, but right into the possession of Kosick, who doesn't really get troubled too much with that one. And she is telling her team to go up the field and get ready for this one. Might have been off the side of the foot a slight bit. We'll see how the bounce and if Maine can keep it in. Morrison unable to do so as Teagan watches it go for a Binghamton throw.
Yeah, it looked like that one went the direction of the wind. I don't know if it was it definitely had some spin on it too. It could have been a little rhythmic, a little bit of wind as well.
Good Rovers. Good stick to it in this to get to that one. Maine still has it. And it's taken away. Now a long way to go. Instead, Maine will take it away. Binghamton was basically going to be on a track meet with 95 seconds left to go. And still might be the case. So this one, Maine coming in. That'll be a foul on the Black Bears. So in the waning moments of this first half, a good set piece position for the Binghamton Bearcats. Herbert takes the kick. Majority of her team towards that far post run. This one's sent towards, it's going to be knocked away, and a good defending play for the Black Bears will result in a corner kick with under 60 seconds left to go in the half. I believe that was Emma Schneider who came in across the goal and just knocked that one off the midsection out of play. This one, the corner kick sent in, headed back out. The one touch low, dangerous, still around, and then picked up by Kosick. And that's likely going to be one of the final moments of this first half of play.
Some momentum, though, for Binghamton heading into the half.
They've had some good opportunities. Also very fortunate to only be down 1-0 to this point. For Maine, they have to be happy they're up, but maybe disappointed they had some other opportunities. Well, hold that thought. With 9 seconds left, can Maine have one last moment of glory? That likely will not be the case. 45 minutes in the books. And it will be black and white, with the former being the majority of the uniform for the Bearcats.
Yeah, and Kosick and Williams staying in net. That second half start for Williams breaks what would have been a tie if she had been subbed out in minutes with fellow keeper Rebecca Kessler.
So interesting to see both coaches decide to elect with their goalkeepers out there, with some speculation on who would start today. I think a lot of people, after the Rookie and Defensive of the Week honor for Grace Wilson, likely would have been given the nod. But it's Kosick today, and it seems like it's going to be Williams for the duration of this one for the Bearcats as well. A little push off and a whistle. This will favor the Black Bears, as it looks like they called that one on Jakea Davis. Honestly, too, with some of the physicalness from the Bearcats, would not be surprised to see them be handed out a card at some point in the second half if they keep at that same pace. Black Bears, though, good possession. A little misstep and a slip from the Binghamton defense. Maine again trying to come out with a full head of steam out of the gate in the start of the second half. This time it's stymied. And a little collision there called on the Black Bears.
Kelly and Kirkby in the midfield for Maine. I don't think they got out in the first half, and they have been all over the field for Maine this game, so they don't look tired yet, I guess. We can keep an eye on them.
Yeah, Maine bringing up the same starting 11 here for the second half, and it looks to be the same for the Binghamton Bearcats as well. This one sent towards the 18. Maine's able to take that one out. A little passiveness in receiving that ball. Maine picks it up, sends it all the way back over to Kosick inside the 6. Not a ton of pressure around her. Looks like McKenzie Ryder was in the vicinity, but not enough to test her. And now it's just keep away with Ryder in the midst of three different players, one of which being Kasich. And eventually moves it forward. Good cut back, and then retreats all the way back on the pass to Kasich. She'll eventually change fields, gets it all the way across to El Vermilia. She'll sit it back now to the defensive side of things.
Yeah, I'm starting to feel a little bit bad for Mackenzie Ryder up there, solo in the press.
Oh, good through ball. Good one touch. Panette crosses it. It's knocked away. And what great defending there by Brooke Herber, just getting in the way of what would have been a sure goal had it gone cleanly across the mouth of the goal.
Yeah, it's dangerous when Panette gets in that area. Of scores on Maine with over 5 shots taken. Jordan Panette leads the pack with a whopping 50% conversion rate of shots to goals. Not shots on goal to goals, shots to goals.
This one, high arcing, just flicked on by the head. It's going to go all the way to the other side of the sideline and will go all the way out. Good chase there by Laura Kirkby, but unable to get there in time. Again, the first roughly 7 to 10 minutes of either the first or second half, Maine is incredibly dangerous. And then, not necessarily that Maine has a malaise in the rest of the half, but there's just something about their attack and their game plan. Their through balls are a little bit more crisp, but they are so dangerous, and that's why they've been so successful in terms of scoring goals. And to that point, Maine getting a penalty kick awarded and scoring in the first 7 minutes of the contest. The Blackbears try to work in this near sideline. It's knocked away. Davis trying to turn the corner. Good battle back and forth with her and the defender, and Maine will win this time through as Reinwald knocks it back to the midfield. Phillips, the Bolton, England native. Vermelia sends it over. Kramer giving chase, though this one's going to get right to the possession of Williams. Has no problem with it. She places it on the ground, sends it over. All the way back it goes. Maine has that one trickle past one of the defenders. Now it's cut back towards the middle. Blackbears backtrack and pick it up. Good couple of square passes over. They try to transition it over to the left side of the field.
Maine being up 1-0, happy to build from the back. Again, it looks like there's a little triangle forming back there.
And a push on the back there. Ryder called for the foul. Nothing egregious from Binghamton, but it's just enough on that borderline that you think the volume of the fouls might result in that yellow card sooner rather than later. Kelly sends it over, picked up. Here's Kayla Kramer. Sends it back now. Kelly. Will she take an ambitious strike? Oh, missed kick that one just outside the 18. Fortunate for her, she had a really great position. The ball bounced just a little bit and she kicked over it. Here come the Bearcats. The cutback, not in time. Now trying to get this one crossed into the box off the head of Phillips. Still in play. Ryder came up to grab it, but she just missed it. Of course, proverbially speaking, not actually physically grabbing it, more so with her feet. Here's Schneider for the throw-in. Ball careened off the noggin of Phillips and disoriented her enough, didn't realize it was still in play at the time. Maine switching fields with ease. A lot of real estate there for Vermelia. She hands it forward, but Kramer almost gave up on the run there. Good one touch. Oh, this is a dangerous spot if Kramer can get to it. Good shield here. She lost track of it. Picks it up now. Over to Kelly, but it's just knocked away in a whistle. And there's going to be a foul called on Maine. And there's a yellow card, but this will be granted to Maine instead of Binghamton. So the Blackbears will pick up their first of the contest in their 5th of the season.
It looks like that one went to Kayla Kramer, currently tied in on the team with 2 goals and 2 assists for third in points. And she does so with the lowest amount of minutes among Maine's top 5 scorers this season. So an efficient player to have on the field, and an unfortunate yellow card for Maine.
She's also not one, between her and her sister Abby, you usually would hedge towards Abby, who's had a lot more discretions in the past. Actually, the one game Maine lost last year was without Abby Kramer, who was on a suspension due to a red card last year. So it's official, Kayla getting the yellow card, her first of the season, I believe. This one headed back down. Binghamton trying to work it quickly back up. This one a through ball, but also more like a square, but again, too much pace and into the Maine bench.
Yeah, we've talked a little bit about the experience between both of these teams, but I think we haven't really talked about how Maine is bringing back so much experience. 95% of their scoring and 9 of their 10 top scorers. Whereas Binghamton last season had 6 all-conference players and just 2 remain this year. So losing some important pieces on that side, but still putting up a great fight.
Yeah, Binghamton lost some really good players, like McKnight from last year. And they have 8 first-year players on this roster, but 9 seniors on this team as well, with 10 sophomores and juniors total. And a little bit more of a good mix. 5 grad students, 6 seniors, 7 juniors, 6 sophomores, and 5 freshmen.
Yeah, and you've seen some players step up. I mean, we've talked about Hannah Mimas leading this team, but she was averaging around 46 minutes a game last season, which is not that many to be leading your team in points in the next season. So,
and again, a dangerous team that drew 0-0 last year, I should say. Here's a run for the Blackbears, trying to cross that one across the mouth of the goal again, but not a far post run as Kramer again cut it in a little bit too much towards the middle of the goal, and that harmlessly again out for a goal kick. Wind dying down here from Mahaney Diamond. Again, the absolutely beautiful day here today. Not as warm as we've seen in past contests. I think Ian next to me on my right, probably enjoying it not being as hot as it was the first game we broadcast this year.
Yeah, I did not enjoy, I do not enjoy the heat, but I do enjoy this weather, and it is a great temperature for a game where you're not too hot, but you're also not having to wear a winter coat on the sideline either.
I was about to say, I'm going to remind you on October 27th when NJIT's in town. We'll see how much you enjoy that game compared to that Merrimack contest on the 29th. This one knocked out of play. It'll go to Binghamton. We'll have the substitute, one for each side. Actually looks like just for Binghamton. As Lauren Clark will come in as the junior, making her 9th appearance on the season.
Hasn't been able to repeat it thus far, but Lauren Clark, a season ago, had her month in September with 3 straight games scoring.
And she's been a dangerous player, too. Remember watching her last handful of seasons versus Maine, and she's always such a dangerous player. This one sent towards the Binghamton bench on the clearance. It'll go to the Bearcats with 34:09 left to go in this contest. Maine on top 1-0. Abby Kramer's penalty kick goal, the difference in this one. Maine almost taking it away. Instead goes all the way to this near side. Cross back into the box over the head of Davis. Schneider, a little bit more of a dangerous game there, allowed it to go across her body before she pelted it over towards the fence. Here's the throw. Intended for Davis. It's cleared out again. Another throw in for the Bearcats. This reminds me of when I was playing travel soccer back in the day, too. We had a lead late. Sometimes you boot it away. Hope there was no one to gather that ball so you could get some more time off the clock, albeit so much time left in this.
Yeah, unfortunately for Maine, they have a lot of ball people on the sides holding them ready to go. Although, fortunately for them, if they need to play quick,
yeah,
they'll be able to.
Will also do much time to eat up. Maine wants to win this contest, but I don't think there's a lot of stalling with half an hour left on the clock.
Mm-hmm.
Getting a running change over the last handful of seasons to no overtime if this game were to happen to be tied. It would just end and result in a tie. They used to play into overtime. Now they just decided to nix that. Maine trying to put that thought and theory to bed. Unfortunately, unable to get that one clean for a good look in front of the goal. As a broadcaster, though, I do welcome a little bit more of the brevity of these contests, especially in these regular season games. When the team plays tie, you kind of enjoy allowing them to get a point out of the deal as opposed to playing more and taxing more into the athletes' bodies.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a collision, and there's going to be a whistle called on to Maine as Davis gets up very, very slowly. That was Phillips who came all the way back from her center defensive back position. Maybe that hit down on her. Davis seems to be all right.
An unfortunate collision and a warning from the ref. Won't show the card here because I do think that Phillips was trying to go for that ball with the header. Just an unlucky collision, really.
A little too ambitious with the opportunity, but sent back into the midfield. Turned over across the field. And now Maine intercepts. Square gets it all the way over to Kirkby. Kirkby tries to deke out the defender and will do so. Vermillion works it up. Kramer. That pass went awry. It'll be a Binghamton throw-in as Vermillion concedes. Maine with a substitute coming in just a moment.
The Kramer sisters thought that one was going to be a Maine throw. Unfortunately, not the case.
Another late tackle, this time from Binghamton, and this time from Mackenzie Ryder. Maine trying the through ball. It's a good one, but just a tad too long for Abby Kramer, and a good reach out there from the goalkeeper, Caitlin Williams, to come up with that one.
Yeah, that's a brave play from Williams, sliding under Abby Kramer, who I wouldn't have been surprised if she had went for that ball a little bit more aggressively.
Kramer, I think, knew that she wasn't going to get there, but did want to give an effort.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of that, comes up a little too much of pace there. And another shoulder down there.
This time on Laura Kirkby.
No card that time, though it looks like Maine might be getting close, much like I anticipated Binghamton would be close to a card. Cleared out. And try to work it up that far sideline. Some real estate in front of them. The pass a little too long and a little too much of pace, but harmlessly off the wall over there in right field. And here come the substitutes for the Black Bears. It looks like there'll be a trio. Actually, more than I anticipated. Lossius, Morrison, Dungy, and also Abby Thornton into the contest. Thornton was a Rookie of the Week selection back in 23 and an all-rookie as well as Abby Thornton. Lossius, by the way, 2 years ago scored the only goal for the Black Bears in their semifinal loss to New Hampshire down in the Granite State back in 2022. Tegan Morrison has been a very big part of this Maine offense. This year, however, for Morrison, just one assist, but kind of bridge that gap for some of the lean years for Maine back to the successful ones in 22 and 23.
Most of Maine dropped in here for this throw from Binghamton, but Kramer staying up top, holding that line at half.
Back to midfield, placed back. Binghamton, some good, quick one-touch passing. They'll send this one to the far left side, bouncing over, troubling Hannah Mimas. Under 28 minutes left to go in this one. Maine up 1-0. We appreciate you joining us on this Sunday afternoon on America East TV. I'm Zach William McDonald with you. Conference opener for both these teams. Binghamton picked number 2 with 1 first-place vote. Black Bears picked number 1 with 8 of the 9 first-place votes.
Yeah, since this most recent substitution, I've heard Scott Atherley a little bit more, which is surprising because he's so far away. But a vocal coach, and he's definitely telling his team what he thinks to do here. I heard him giving some words of encouragement to Tegan Morrison a few plays ago.
This one's sent up the field, knocked down by Phillips. And trying to get something. Phillips is going to continue this run from the center back position, knocked away, and then sent towards the other side of the field. Looks like it might have careened off the hand of the Black Bear player on the far side of the field, but instead it'll be a run. Davis, the intended target. Maine's going to pick that one up, and they'll send this one up the pitch. Kirkby made a nice run to get that one. Sent over. Here's Megan Baker. Send it backward. Settled. Here's the turn. Bouncing ball. Schneider trying to stop it. Battle between her and Mimas. That'll be picked up by her. The latter crossing it. Dangerous spot. The touch is going to be blocked, as it looked like it was going to be a favorable one for Lauren Clark, but getting her foot in on it there was the Black Bear player.
That's Elle Vermelia getting their foot in there and then also getting a clearance right after.
Here's Abby Kramer with some space. Lossius into the cross into the box. Morrison loses track of it. And Williams with her fingertips grabs that one and brings it into her possession.
Grabs that one just over the head of Abby Thornton, who was making a good late run there just to make sure, keep him honest.
Williams sends that into midfield. That'll be a Black Bear throw-in. Wind blowing across the field again. Maybe blowing slightly towards the Binghamton goal, if anything. Heads it back from whence it came. Another whistle. And another one favoring Binghamton. Quick little whistle here. Oh, that's actually going to be a yellow card on Binghamton, even though they got the free kick. Interesting. Let's see who that was on. Not quite sure yet.
Looks like it would have been either Baker or Garofalo, just based on who was in the area, but uncertain.
Kick. And towards the 18. He knocks it away. Settled, sort of, by Abby Kramer's thigh, and that careens off. The yellow card for Binghamton. Still waiting for the official word on who it goes to. For Binghamton, it'll be their first of the contest and their 7th overall now in 9 games. This one, tracking back after the touch from Kramer. Back to Williams. She can't pick it up. Maine's trying to swoop in. She gets it back to midfield. There's the header back into the Binghamton possession. Maybe on Mackenzie Ryder, I guess, officially. Ryder, the forward, is going to be knocked by that one. Phillips gets it in, then a clean out right then and there.
It's like Herbert there with the foul on Abby Thornton of Maine.
Some of these ones, Maine might be embellishing a little bit, but not that you've seen in other contests, they warrant another yellow card on both sides of the pitch. Offside's called on Maine, a little too ambitious on that play as they stepped over the line.
Looks like Williams had it regardless.
She sets the ball, quickly works up. Not a ton of pace or nervousness for Binghamton at this point, but you imagine that'll amp up as this game progresses.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some fresh legs come in, maybe in the midfield, maybe on the wings or up top, just to sort of pick that pace up.
Still early into the season, a loss won't mean the make or break of your season, but you want to win this game if you're Maine, specifically because it's against the team right behind you in the preseason standings, but also it's a home game. You want to win every home game you have, otherwise you might not be playing at home in the postseason. This one a good hit.
Looking for Lossius.
She gathers it. Step over. She's good in some space. Good pullback. The defender falls to her backside. This one just hit off the glove. Sent back over again. Kramer just misses the header, and that one goes out for a goal kick. Well, Maine had many opportunities, but unable to finish any of them, and a good fingertip save there from Williams. Well, that opportunity had almost everything.
Yeah, during that play, Megan Baker at right back for Binghamton went down a little bit, but was quick to get up on her own accord, and it looks like she's going to stay in.
Rovers and Closell into the contest for the Black Bears as they sub in. Thrown for the Black Bears. 21:46 left to go in this one. Maine up 1-0 in the conference opener between Binghamton and Maine. By the way, Abby Kramer, Emma Schneider out of the contest here. Davis giving chase. They send it all the way back to Cossack. Jakea Davis, though, still in the vicinity. And gives it over to Phillips. The passing's been bouncy. It hasn't been crisp in the back, and it's been a little bit scary for Maine fans out there.
Yeah, I think you brought it up, Brian, in the first half. They were playing a little bit more in front of their goal than you'd expect Maine to do. I think they might have cleaned it up a little bit in the second.
So knocked away. It'll be another Maine throw-in. Black Bear fans would love to see a second one on the board, too, to get some breathing room for a team that's been very dangerous, albeit a little bit more later scoring this year with the Bearcats' 1.38 average per contest and 11 goals total. Both teams played Syracuse. Maine with a 1-1 tie versus the Orange. A 1-0 loss for the Bearcats back on the 5th. Maine played Syracuse back on the 18th of August. And this one's going to be a goal kick. Last touch by Maine.
Yeah, and that trip to Syracuse, Maine actually made it a Thursday to Sunday trip, playing both Lemoyne, in which they won 4-0, and Syracuse University out of the ACC, where they, as you said, drew 1-1.
Yeah, also interesting, too, and sometimes you look at those out-of-conference matchups, and you have to decipher, too, who played at home, who played on the road, vice versa, because that can impact it. But Lemoyne, another common opponent, a 2-0 win for Binghamton over Lemoyne. Maine won 4-0 in that contest versus them. So sent all the way back. Maine heads it, brings off the back of the noggin. Black Bears have to get it all the way back to Cossack just to save face there. They do so. Davis in the vicinity watches that one get cleared over. Herbert. Now Maine putting some pressure on, trying to get some space, and that's just going to be a clean out. That's going to be a foul on Maine. Looks like Rovers just couldn't stop.
Yeah, I think it's good to play through the ball, but maybe not that through the ball. I don't know.
Maybe on the football gridiron, that might be a little bit more accepted. Under 20 minutes to play here, conference opener. Maine still on top 1-0. 18:47 to be precise.
One thing to note, obviously, Rovers now in for Abby Kramer. That was the second Kramer sister to be taken off, as Maine gets another penalty call. It'll be a free kick Binghamton, and looks like the yellow card shown.
Second yellow card being handed out to a Maine player, third overall.
Looks like that one's on Dungy. But interesting to note that both the Kramer sisters are out. The chemistry they have is just, it's next level, obviously, being siblings. The only thing I've seen them fight about was the social media team asked how many holes were in a straw. And there were some different answers on that. I don't know.
Well, it was the same thing with the T-shirt one the other day, too, I noticed.
Yeah, how many holes in the T-shirt?
I guess if you think there's one, we'll hold that thought for a second. Cossack gets this one. Davis again in the area, but not there quick enough as the ball had some good pace to it, and Cossack comes up with a cleaner. Well, I guess if you're looking at it from a straw perspective and you think there's only one hole in a straw, that you would have the same sentiments with a T-shirt, too, with the head hole and the body hole.
Yeah. Interesting philosophy questions.
Well, I think after watching that video, the consensus from the women's soccer team was that there's 4. 4 would make sense in that.
Yeah, 4 for the T-shirt, and then
2 for the straw, I think, right?
I think it was for the straw. Coach Scott Atherley got in and said he agreed with Emma Schneider. 1 hole, but 2 openings in the straw.
Well, that's not the question.
Yeah, that's kind of cheating it. I don't know.
That's kind of cheating it. Very presidential, maybe political answer there from Coach Atherley, getting ready for the election season. Vipers trying to get some momentum brewing again. A bunch of substitutions in for the Black Bears as Lauren Panett back out there for the Maine side. Davis carrying multiple defenders on her back. Maine's going to be careful there, too, especially with a certain amount of players. Kayla Kramer, and now Dungy with a yellow card for Maine. Can't pick up the second. Phillips also has probably one more tackle before she's granted the yellow. Maine with a couple players back out there, by the way. Panett, Kayla Kramer, Kirkby, and Reinwald in for Maine. And offsides here. Remus just a tad too far up the field. She'll be granted the offsides call. It'll be the second one called on Binghamton for the contest.
I believe Maine still has just 1 offsides call in the contest, which is not surprising because we know this team is going to figure out those offsides, but maybe a little bit surprising that they don't have a couple. Somehow they've played in games past.
Yeah, look at the official statistics. It says they have just 1. I think I recalled one they didn't track back earlier in the contest with Abby Kramer. This one sent into the box. Maine trying to get that second goal. This might be the opportunity. So right off the foot of Kirkby as she tried to extend it out to Kramer on the left side. 2 more substitutes coming in for Maine. More fresh legs for the Black Bears. So Abby Kramer's stint on the bench short-lived as Emma Schneider also returns back into the fray after starting the contest on the defensive side. That one knocked out of play on the near sideline. Lozelle throws it in. Stays in. It's almost like the player stopped on this one and then eventually prompted the whistles from our official.
Baker on the throw, listed officially as a defender/forward.
And that's an unusual one, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, I noticed that one looking up some of the stuff here on the preparation. Usually you see like a defender, midfielder, or midfielder, forward kind of combo, not usually both ends. Still waiting for the goalkeeper forward combo, which I think would be the most unusual.
Yeah, Baker last season had a season high of 23 minutes, and this season averages 76 a game.
We'll see if Binghamton can get the offensive mojo moving. They had some good opportunities, but unable to really grasp anything forward, too. Schneider was pulled off the ball a little bit, but now she's got some space. Numbers were up for Binghamton, and she's going to be making a run now. Pass over. Kramer now with an opportunity. Schneider flanking her to the left. She'll shoot this one a goal. It almost goes right in between the legs of Williams, beg your pardon, but instead stays in front of that line. Schneider's got to go a retreat back, too, as she was really creeping up from that back line. So this one off the back of Davis. He takes it away.
It looks like still dropping in for Schneider's Panette, sort of at that back right, and now overlapping.
And a tad too much there for Kayla Kramer to handle. The pace been cut down maybe to 70% of that velocity. I think that would have been a perfect ball for Kramer to just turn around and make some good movement on it. Might be something both teams, well, in particular, Maine needs to practice on, is just how hard they're hitting some of these passes.
And I think it must be tough, coming back from a road game even, just adjusting to your field. The turf here does feel a little bit shorter almost than even our UMaine football field. Maybe the ball travels a bit quicker.
Well, just that, too. Depending on the time of day that you're practicing, there might be some moisture on it, or if there's some rain the day before or the day of. It's a really dry field with not much rain. A handful of days. See what the Blackbears can do. This one's going to be stumped. Herber knocks it down. Maine picks it up. Here's Kirkby looking and surveying her options. Tripped up there for a moment. I believe that was Ryder, honestly, too, that has to be careful with her yellow card as that one's deflected. Maine still trying to gather it up. Oh, a little four-on shiver. Oh, I don't think the official saw it, though. It was right in front of her. Right in front of the official. Yeah, Bemis took her forearm there and just put it right into the face of Jordan Panette. Now, the line judge did not see it, too. I just have to look at the monitor and watching it in real time. Bemis came right over there, and I don't think we have the replay of it either, but went right over and elevated her arm up, and her left forearm went right into the right side of Jordan Panette's face.
Yeah, it looked like the line judge was watching that ball as it was rolling out on the sideline. Kirkby and Schneider quick to head over and check on Jordan.
Officiating is a very difficult thing. I think the problem was that the official on the line was looking over to try to see the ball as it went through, and not to say that it was anything malicious or a cheap shot or anything, but it did look like Mimas came in, and it occurred right after the official had looked his head over.
And the official now conversing with Panette.
The clock stopped right at 12 minutes. I think if the officials had seen that one cleanly, it would have been a yellow card, no doubt. Maine also luckily to only have 2 yellow cards to this point.
Looks like maybe Panette deciding whether or not to stay on the field here. She hasn't made her way back towards the Black Bear bench yet.
Will be a corner kick for the Black Bears. This one sent low to the near post. Oh, no one there. Maine picks it back up. That was able to enter back in after it was sent in. This one knocked in front of goal. Williams gets the slide and picks that one up as another Maine player was right there trying to bat it home.
Yeah, shot Anna Phillips to follow Abby Kramer, as it does look like the net will stay out there. Back out on the right wing.
Another touch for Maine. Kayla Kramer battling for it. Knocked out harmlessly for a throw-in for Maine, and probably the best option there for the Binghamton defense. We will see a Maine substitute. So Christina Kelly checks in.
Coming in for Reinwald.
It doesn't appear Reinwald's going to get that goal that you had prognosticated, but she's playing pretty well. Just hasn't had that shot and that good clean look yet.
Keep an eye out the next couple games.
Unless you're more of an attacking midfield position, she's almost dropped back a little bit this year and allowed Kirkby and Kelly to kind of creep up a little bit more. This one knocked too heavily towards the right side and out of play. Maine hoping to salt away the next 10 minutes and 44 seconds. Binghamton needs to have a little bit more urgency progressing down the field. They want to get the equalizer before the end of regulation. In this Mahaney Diamond facility, likely the last year they'll be playing women's soccer on it. Women's soccer program, the only soccer team on the University of Maine campus at this level. Last men's soccer coach was actually Scott Atherley.
Yeah, Atherley coached both teams, men's and women's, for 1 year, and then became the women's head coach. And if you're wondering where the new soccer facility is going to be, it's going to be over that outfield wall, probably a little bit more to the right. You see in the shot here.
What you're saying is over the right field wall, basically.
Right
what you're
field.
seeing right there is almost dead center. I heard some rumors that they might be breaking ground on that here in the next couple of months, maybe in November, the ceremony. And hoping to have 2 straight championships in tow before they open up that season. But field hockey just opened up a brand new facility last year. The softball team 2 years ago just hosted the American Youth Softball Championships back in the spring. Just been a great amount of resources sunk in there by the Alphon Foundation. Some really generous donations and donors here across the state.
It looks like Abby Kramer, a little slow to get up, may have had a collision going up for a header. Checked on and she'll stay up.
Of course, this field also will be the host of the Maine baseball tournament at the end of May of 2025. Turns here after a 2-year, I'm trying to think, 2-year location site at the new Binghamton facility. This one sent in towards sideline. Looked like it was going to be a little bit more angled towards the main goal, but well, that's not the case. Under 10 minutes to play. Some youngsters down below trying to get their skills honed to get to that next level of playing Division I soccer. Well, Maine's got an opportunity for another run brewing. Looking for the cross here. Gets it over to Kayla Kramer, and that will be a goal. She gets it off the side of her foot and into the back of the net, and Maine gets the insurance goal they so desperately wanted to go up to 2-0.
Jordan Panette there to Kayla Kramer, right into the back of the net. Those nice low passes across the center of the goal, and a great quick shot to catch Williams off guard.
3rd goal of the season for Kayla Kramer. Her 10th of her career as well, up to double digits now. As she has been red hot here at Mahaney Diamond, her 3rd goal in the last 2 games.
And that ties her and Laura Kirkby for most points on the team.
So Abby and Kayla Kramer, the 2 goal scorers for the Black Bears in this one. As Panette officially credited with the assist, and for Jordan Panette, that is assist number 2 for the season, and she's up to 8 points.
It actually does tie Panette as well on that play for most points on the team.
Well, now barring something incredibly interesting from Binghamton's offense, who still is out-shooting Maine, well, at least was out-shooting at halftime. Now shots on goal 4-4, and shots in general Maine 9-7 after a little bit of onslaught recently. Binghamton would really have to amp up their offensive game in the next 8 minutes to make this one a tie ball game. Kirkby, dangerous tackle there. She's just going to be warned there, passing from our official. One thing Maine does not want to do is have another needless yellow card, and in particular to either of the two that have a yellow already to get kicked out of this contest in the next one as well. Gassick comes out, punches it. Maine still out of the woods yet. Sent backwards, this one. Lower line drive finds that far post on the left side. Mimas. The cross, though, is bouncing intended, but not enough pace on it to get to Jakea Davis.
Binghamton's had a few of those deep kicks that they get into the box, and that was the 3rd time that Garofalo's taken it, and the 3rd time that she's asked the referee to take a look at where Abby Kramer's standing in relation to the kick. That would be one of those yellow cards that you do not want to get for just standing a little bit too close.
I believe, is this one a dangerous play? Davis pulls it back. Now cutting back through, and then pelts it in the back of the net as Binghamton gets one back. With 6:47 left to go. Just a great drive down, finished off by Davis. As Jakea Davis, her 2nd goal of the season, as the Ontario native in her 1st year, gets the Bearcats within 1.
Davis's 1st goal of the season. As you mentioned, currently shooting 50% coming into this game of shots on goal, but only having 4 shots on the season. Definitely made some great runs up top, and that's a great move to beat the keeper and then beat a defender one-on-one to find the back of the open net.
Well, it looked like Maine was going to be able to skate away with a nice victory here. A little lackadaisical play. I think playing for that foul, they thought they had some contact here. There was no whistle called, and kind of shut down, and then Davis using her speed to push through. The wind is whipping, now blowing the backs of the Maine players. We're trying to salt away the next 6 minutes and 4 seconds off the clock. So no shutout as well for Gassick. Nothing she could do about that one. That was just a really good played effort there by Davis. And sends it back deeper into the Binghamton end. Now Lauren Clark officially given an assist to that one, not unassisted. Probably do, because Davis did a lot of the work, but did need some extra help. A beautiful pass from Clark.
Become as Clark's first assist or goal on the season with that assist.
And now looking for another insurance goal, but would happy just to let the next 5 minutes off the clock. Binghamton's been a dangerous team throughout this one. So Maine's got to be careful not to allow something to Davis. A little collision there. This one knocked out of play. Maine looking to go to 1-0. Binghamton trying to upset the #1 team in the preseason poll, though albeit a minor upset if they were able to do so. Still needing at least 2 goals in the next 4:30. Maine trying to get something up towards and across. It's going to be picked up. Williams trying to avoid going 0-2 on the season. Again, she's been starting and playing most of the first half of the contest, so not really credited with a lot of the records out there. Her counterpart, the sophomore Rebecca Kessler, 3-2-2, 0-1-0 for Williams. Free kick now. Binghamton knowing how valuable this is with under 4 left to go.
Williams for Binghamton up basically at half as a keeper.
This one goes all the way back through. Kasich gets it. Maine works quickly here, though, albeit they're probably going to want to eat some more time off the clock. They have Kayla Kramer on the left side of the field wide open with only Williams in front of her. Wind starts to change direction a slight bit, now blowing a little bit back and forth towards the face of Kasich, but then also the face of Williams. And to the side of our booth over here to our left. Black Bears seeing if they can have one more run, sends this one towards the flag, but that will go out for a goal kick. Actually, it looks like a throw-in for Binghamton.
And not the best case scenario for Binghamton. You hope there that you can get it up quick, and then we see Maine wins it fairly quickly.
Binghamton kicks it by way of the foot of Williams. And trying to settle it. And they'll do so, sending it backwards. Now up the field, here's to Kayla Kramer. Kramer goes and tries to go through the middle of the legs of the defender. He does so for a moment. And then Maine just pouts it over to the sidelines. 2 minutes and 15 seconds left. We've seen goals many a time to score this late into a contest. Binghamton hoping to join the ranks, some of the late game heroics.
Yeah, Maine could have been hoping that ball that was kicked out pretty far stayed out a little bit longer, but it went back in quick on the throw. It's Abby Kramer on the turf.
Kramer did get some contact to her. I think she might have embellished a little bit more, at least according to our official here in this contest.
Clock stops for the check-up on Kramer. We'll start back up as the throw-in happens.
Catherine Mitchell says that's not enough to warrant a whistle for a foul in Maine's direction or a card. So Abby Kramer's trying to goad her into it. Though that will be a free kick for Binghamton there with a little bit of minimal contact. They're going to stop the clock with 96 seconds left. We'll get the kick. Everyone aligned right at the 18.
Loon Panette alone with Nemus on the far side.
Quick look back to see what the play might be. Clock has not been restarted yet.
And Kayla Kramer getting a little talking to from the referee.
Kick right in the middle of the 18. Kasich comes out. She's down. The ball is up, and the ball is going to be towards the line. Maine's going to try to get this one away. A good battle back and forth. Clausel knocks it away, going against Lauren Clark, who's already getting an assist in the contest. Clark gets it. Knocked away. Last touch by Kramer. For the throw-in, Kramer sends it back up. One touch by Abby. Abby Kramer making a run. That will go all the way out of bounds, and it'll be 60 seconds left. Maine just needs bend but don't break defense. As going to be a first good touch. Sent back over. Williams can't pick it up yet. She'll wait until it gets back into the 18. But taking up valuable seconds off the clock. Kayla Kramer, quick one touch. Every moment taking away from Binghamton's opportunity to tie this game up, especially this deep in their own end. That one sent to the near side. Maine taking their time with the throw one with just 16 seconds remaining. And they'll stop the clock, and I think we might get another card here if Maine doesn't get this thrown in.
And another throw comes, and that should do it for this one.
Maine throws it in, just lets it roll. And in the conference opener, Maine scores twice, one on a penalty.